And according to the American Civil Liberties Union, the United States comprises just 5% of the world population, but is home to 25% of the world's prison population, making America the world's largest jailer. U.S. President Barack Obama is trying to change that statistic by using his executive clemency power to commute the sentences of nonviolent drug offenders. For decades, mandatory minimum laws have bloated U.S. prisons. In his book, 15 to Life, How I Painted My Way to Freedom, Anthony Papa describes how discovering art while in prison changed his life and led to his clemency. He is also the media relations manager for the Drug Policy Alliance, who supports the president's decision, and he's right here in our New York studios. Anthony, nice to meet you, and welcome to Arise America.
Thank you for having me on.
So glad to have you here. I guess the first question to ask is, what's your reaction to these announced plans by Attorney General Eric Holder and President Obama to extend this clemency to a greater population in federal prisons?
It's a very welcome move, and I hope it helps to right the wrongs of a broken criminal justice system.
And what do you mean by a broken system?
Well, the mandatory minimum sentencing, which the war on drugs dictates, has found a way to break the system by incarcerating many low-level nonviolent drug offenders. So this move by President Obama shows he's concerned of the injustice that was dished out in other administrations, and he's trying to fix a broken system.
And the reality here, though, this really only deals with federal prisons, doesn't deal with states. So what's your hope there, that this might perhaps set a trend?
Right, and we're hoping that because President Obama has stepped up to the plate, that governors of states will follow and exercise their clemency powers to use them more to grant people their freedom.
And the reality is, and we don't have time to go through all of these recommendations, the guidelines for clemency, but it has to do with inmates that have served at least 10 years.
Right.
If I believe they have to have, it has to be a nonviolent offense, and so it's a very focused and very narrow group that this applies to. Do you feel like they went far enough with this effort?
Well, I think for the point they're trying to make, you know, they did go far in regards to granting clemency to hundreds, maybe thousands of people. Maybe they're trying the waters out, the first steps, and maybe they'll extend it to a different population when these people come out and they see that they effectively interact with society and become tax-paying citizens and productive citizens. Maybe it'll extend to a further population and affect more people.
And if you will, Anthony, make the argument for the motivation for it extending to a wider population, because I think politically, a lot of politicians, elected officials are very reluctant. Everybody harkens back to Michael Dukakis and Willie Horton, which derailed his political career, and that is the fear of letting someone out of incarceration and then they go out and do something harmful in society.
Well, I'll use myself for an example. I was a first-time nonviolent drug offender. I was sentenced to 2 15 to life sentences under the Rockefeller drug laws of New York State, which mandate mandatory minimum sentencing. The judge, in my case, didn't want to sentence me to 15 to life, but he had to because of mandatory minimum sentencing laws. And I think that there's many people stuck in prison that have fell through the cracks of the criminal justice system with no relief other than getting clemency or from the President of the United States or governors of the states they're in. So there are many men and women that deserve second chances in their life, and they're really they're fully rehabilitated, but they're stuck in prison with no alternatives.
Before I let you go, I want to get you to react to the Smarter Sentencing Act, which is being reviewed by the Senate Judiciary Committee, which would be something beyond what the president can do with his executive powers. Tell me what you think about it.
Well, I think it's great bipartisan legislation. I think it goes far in regards to giving judges the power to look at the totality of facts and cases. It overthrows mandatory minimum sentencing, and the crack cocaine disparity in 2010 that Obama signed into legislation, which let thousands of people go. About 5,000 or 6,000 people are still stuck there. So this would, if applied, would apply retroactively and help those people get out also. So all around, it's a great a piece of legislation, and hopefully it's going to pass. And I pray President Obama grants these people those clemencies and they return home to their families and reunite with their loved ones.
Anthony Papa, thank you very much for coming on. Congratulations on all your success.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
And this is Arise America.